It's Roddy Vision right here, my boy Tyler. Yo, man, what's going on? Oh, yeah, okay, but yeah. Yeah, what do you want to talk about today, bro?
Yeah,
I got the stringer Tino.
Whatever you feeling like today.
Should I leave it open like the Italian, like the hamburger meat? Should I do the hamburger meat for the? Oh, in the middle, I'll just bring it down. So they say, "Oh snap! I didn't know he had that under there. What's that?" $14 chain from Etsy. That's what's there. You already know.
Everything's good. You good?
I'm chilean like a sea bass.
Keep it like a fist away. That's the advice.
That's what she said. Fist away.
I'm sure.
All right.
Sure
I don't know
didn't.
why she was. That's confusing. I don't even know why she would say that. It just sounded right.
I don't know. Nothing but
You
a
know,
best.
you know how in the Matrix they say this is your digital. This is like your true self in the construct. I constructed this. Yeah, I can see this, bro. I constructed this. Let me stop looking at the mind. Let me look at it. What's up, y'all?
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Elevated Podcast. Today, I'm joined with Rodney Vision.
No, so I'm Rodney.
You're Rodney.
But my, my handle, my company, Roddy Vision.
Roddy Vision.
It's inspired by a few things. Should I speak about those few things?
I mean, if you want to.
Yeah.
I was gonna, give the little introduction on who you are, what you do, and then we can jump into the topics.
So my name's Rodney. I go by Roddy Vision. I'm an actor. What else do I do besides acting? I'm a thinker. I've been thinking since I was 4 years old. Yeah, that operation that humans perform naturally, I've been doing for about 34 score years now. But Roddy Vision comes from half my love of pro wrestling, Roddy Piper. Not my favorite wrestler. He was a tag racist, God rest his soul. Hitting people with coconuts and stuff like that. And then Vision is for the fact that as a creator, as somebody who eventually wants to be a film director, I got vision. So I put the two words together, and that's where Roddy Vision comes from.
All right. That's a very interesting background. You lost me with the coconuts.
Yeah. Just WWF in the 1980s. Just
to get right into it, though, because now we're going to get a little political, guys. But when we had first met in the gym, we were talking about Trump. And that's when we were really going back and forth in that, which was interesting.
Jail for this. All right.
To kind of revisit that, we were talking about how Trump is very persecuted by the media, and a lot of establishment people don't want him in office.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
So as a person who knows what responsibility is, whether it be social or the things you say, when I look at Trump, right, I see the real life personification of like a Lex Luthor. Like if a superhero villain was real, it'd be him, to the point where if Lex Luthor becomes president in the comic book, Superman is like, man, I see what you're doing. I know what you're doing. But the cool thing about Trump is that he's not a part of the establishment. Like when people talk about an Illuminati or they talk about this construct that controls our society, he is just a guy who for most of his life was relentless about getting a certain thing, getting whatever his agenda was completed without people stopping him. He was the world says no, the universe says no, the universe says stop. He always said yes. So during the 80s, people started to admire him because he represented that American will to prosper and make money. Not necessarily that he was a good guy, but that kind of way of winning is something that people they admired. And you could definitely look into the facts that he may not be the best businessman, but at the end of the day, that facade of what he is, that power, like, dude, it's real. Like, he's got buildings in Korea named Trump Tower, and he don't even own the building. His name carries that kind of weight. So the question you asked is, why are they so against that? Is he has power, but he's not a part of their construct. And just like you were talking about, we walked into this studio, looks like The Matrix. What was The Matrix as a film primarily about? It was about systems of control. And the reason why Neo was a threat is because as a systemic anomaly, he was not a part of the system of control. He was an anomaly. So whether that anomaly be positive and be the savior of the world, and whether it be arrogant, pompous dude
Smith
from Queens, like if it's a Smith, and that's probably what Trump is a Smith.
Not necessarily,
but he definitely ain't Neo. But the thing is that terrifies them. Also, I don't know if I'm getting ahead of us, but that should inspire people in a positive way. That what if someone were to trick the world into getting them into office, and they were the thing that we needed, and they were like this positive savior person. Because the other issue that normal people, like just people, have with him is the fact that he says some things that I agree with, but he's out of pocket, he's brash, and our world is very PC. And there's just things he does like on a general basis that people really ain't trying to hear, or they don't want to hear. Yeah. So yeah.
I mean, he definitely said a lot of crazy things that was like, whoa there, buddy. What I've always went to was him, right? Because as a kid, I was always like, I grew up like, it was like, fuck Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. And that was just the environment I grew in. And then I started asking myself, like, why is that really, though? Why is everything that society is telling me is not to go with him? When every time I see him, or every time I watch a podcast and he's on or he's speaking, it's like, I can't like look at him and see what they're saying he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So regardless of like, so when it comes down to like the things that he says, right? I'd rather like how do I say this? It's like, I don't really like, yes, it's like nobody's perfect at the end of the day, right? So it's like, even though he might say like some fucked up things, let's look at his policies. Yeah. When he was in office, he did a lot of good things. I mean, the border was okay, economy was doing great. Fucking COVID happened, but that was a whole different story. You know what I mean? So it's like, and then we look at, let's compare him to Joe Biden, right? Yeah. He doesn't say anything rash, but his policies are fucking shit. So it's like, who do you really want? Do you want the guy that can't be on Twitter because he's going to say some crazy things, or the guy that can but doesn't do shit? You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how I always looked at it. So you know what I mean?
So so here's a question I'll pose to you, and then I have some answers to that, which are hilarious. But so what environment you said you grew up in? What environment did you grow up in?
So I can't really like what type of environment. Just in like school, like my parents are like heavy Democrats. Yeah. There was always like
what's their background? What's their racial background?
Puerto Rican.
Let me pivot. So I'm a black man. Surprisingly so, because in New York everybody thinks I'm Dominican, but that's a different episode about that whole thing that I can't stand. But I'm African American. My people are from the South. I'm Geechee, Gullah. Look up Gullah Island. Great show from Nickelodeon. Like, I am that, right? So I'm descended from slaves, black, right? There is a point in time where I think in our country Republicans spoke the way Democrats spoke, and then Democrats spoke the way Republicans spoke, and then it switches from time to time.
Yeah. I've been noticing that recently.
Exactly. So in a Puerto Rican household, which is very similar to a black household, because especially before like today, because even though African American culture is being heavily appropriated, people try to blackness is being erased. But in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, black people and Puerto Ricans were very much in the same category. And you never had this whole thing where like, yo, I'm Dominican, I'm Puerto Rican, I'm whatever. Like, most people would just be like, yo, I'm black. Like, my boy, one of my friends growing up, he was half Bayesian and half Puerto Rican. He would just go around saying like, we're black people. Yeah. It's just that we're these boats that came and dropped us here, dropped us in different places. And it's funny, and I love that I'm about to say this on camera, but as an African American, you don't have a cultural identity. Your cultural identity is America. So it's funny that people who are Puerto Rican call themselves Spanish, but that's like me going around and saying that I'm English because my colonizers were English. So I can't go around talking like Idris Elba because my
That's funny.
So
it's funny. Like, a lot of people will ask me, and I'll just be like, I'm American, like, only because. Your fist bugging me, but only because I don't speak Spanish, so that I don't want them to shame me for not speaking Spanish.
Well, here's the thing.
You know what I mean? But I do always
that's
say, like,
hilarious, but at the end of the day, because people who are Spanish who pretend like they're like Aztec and try to speak the ancient language get on my nerves. But at the same time, too, I like the fact that you're saying you're American because, like, dude, you are. And the thing is that America is fundamentally, and getting back to the political thing, is fundamentally the country has so much schisms and so much like split and divisions because when you ask someone from America, in America, who they are, they say, I'm Guyanese, I'm this, I'm that, I'm whatever. And really only, white folks, you not speaking Spanish and me being black, like we say we're American. But if you go to England, if somebody's Chinese, whatever, I've been to England, they say that they're English. They will tell you where they're from, but they have like national pride. And if we had national pride, we'd probably like each other a whole lot more. But
yeah, definitely. We definitely got to.
And I got to answer the other part of your question because I didn't answer the other part of your question.
But I made a point when I was watching. My stepfather always watches the news, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like, if you notice something on the news, they're always putting stories of this car crash, this murder, this, and then talk about Trump and how he's getting sued or whatever, and he's such a fucking asshole. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then to go back to the murders and car crashes and this and that.
Yeah, they're trying to.
And it's like, it's like I look at this and I'm like, why are they not putting anything good, right? And it's like, they just don't want people to have pride in their community, because if they look at their community and it's all fucked up, they're not going to care for it.
Exactly.
And if they don't care for it, they're not going to care what they do to it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have no pride in the community and no pride in the country. And that was just to back up your point. But with Trump, it's like, why do you think there's so much division? Do you think that's purposely being done?
Well, yes, and that's what you brought up with like the new stuff.
Yeah.
And then I could probably, and keep me on task, but I wanted to, because you asked a question earlier that was really important. You said, why do people like in our households not like Trump and that whole Democrat ideal?
So let's go on that, and then we'll move on to
because that whole Democrat ideal is that if someone's Republican, they're just evil, or if they're not the politically correct pick. Like I remember even when I wanted to vote for Bernie Sanders, African American women in my neighborhood, because I'm from Co-op City, were like, "You're not voting for Hillary," and probably because in an African American woman's mind, a Democrat, someone that panders to black people and is also a woman, that should be the person you vote for. When in my opinion, Bernie Sanders seemed like the first person that I saw in that stance who seemed like human to me. Now with Trump, he did something very toxic to get elected. He used this wild card mentality of saying whatever he wanted to say to get people who were incredibly racist in this country to vote for him. So for that, he's socially irresponsible. But I look at him as like somebody who chose to do a thing to win, because if you know his history, he's a rich, bougie dude from Queens, and he has nothing in common with poor, racist white people. He just knew that he could get votes, bro. But the reason why people in your household don't like him is because if you're a Republican, you're just evil. But the more we hear about liberals today, politicians are one and the same. They're just choosing how to go about it. At least with a conservative, I'm aware about how they feel about things, but a liberal's job is just almost to pander to African Americans, Hispanics, Latinos, everybody,
or any group that's under minority.
This woman going on the Breakfast Club talking about she has hot sauce in her bag, or even when like Bill Clinton was cheating on her, the way she said, "I stand by my man." I'm like, why is she speak? I know she country, kinda. Or maybe he's country, because he is, but why are you talking like that? I'm going to stand by my... Like, it's just... liberals, like, they go too hard, bro. And the fact that our people are tricked by that is embarrassing. They should be able to see that that's nonsense. Trump says so much of what he wanted to say that I thought he'd come out the first and be like, well, yes, aliens, they're real. Like, I thought he would say aliens were real, like, day one. But even in that, you got to look it up. And in the HBO interview about, like, a couple of different things that were going on. I forgot the name of it, but he talked about Epstein, and I can't believe this man said this, and it was hilarious because I would say he's like, I don't think Epstein. I think he didn't commit suicide. Like he was. I'm like, bro, did he just say in an interview on HBO? So like he's so out of pocket, but it's like,
but then
it's honest.
To your point, it's because he's not of that control of the establishment. And when we look at like politicians, as you said, are one and the same. It's not like it used to be like Republican versus Democrat. Republicans are evil. Now it kind of switched where the Democrats are like, you guys are fucking batshit crazy. But I always look at it like it's establishment versus anti-establishment.
Exactly.
Because now it's like you got Democrats that do have good policies or whatever and or actually want the best for people. And then you also have Republicans that are the same. And you also have on both sides people that are just batshit crazy and bought and paid for. Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's just establishment versus anti-establishment, whereas Trump anti-establishment, and then you got the whole fucking establishment trying to get out of him, trying to get fucking rid of him, which is fucking ridiculous. I mean, like
it is crazy.
If we could look at the fucking Twitter
that
files,
should make people question. Like I always question, like when it comes to, granted, his presentation value is not great, but when it comes to people like Kanye or Andrew Tate or anyone that the news or people, like I've actually been on dates with women or like in situations where I'm talking to girls and they're like, "Ill, Andrew Tate." And then I literally said to this one girl one time, I was like, especially with what we went through as African Americans in this country and how much people say about us that's not true. Like, it's like one of the reasons why people don't even see me as black is because I don't present myself as a degenerate. Like all the stuff they say about black people is so crazy that how could you as a black person openly believe what the mass amount of people are saying about one person? Like, if you think about it, when Jesus was walking around, the government and no one supported and looked at him like he was what he was. In fact, like, they killed him for it. So what I'm saying is like, I'm not saying these people are Christ-like, but what I'm saying is like, you have to question if everybody's on the same page about something. As I felt my entire life, when everyone's on the same page about something, I'm almost always against that way of thought, because it's just not natural to me. Like I just kind of feel like that is a trick in and of itself. So that's kind of where I am
think
with that.
When it's like the media and like let's just say powerful
Yeah,
organizations, when they're just like pushing that narrative constantly, then it's like yo, like what's up, like is what you're saying really what's going on? Yeah. And that's how I can't watch the news no more, and I don't think anybody should watch the news. And it's like,
dude, it looks filmed sometimes. Like I remember that
it's fucking ridiculous.
The terrorist stuff in like Paris, like people definitely lost their lives, but when you watch it, like the coverage was so like amazing that I was like, yo, it's like, were y'all waiting for this to like pop off? Like sometimes they record things happening in real time where it's like, dude, did they call Stanley Kubrick? Did they call like Steven Spielberg? Did George Lucas and THX do the effects for this? Like Skywalker Sound produce like this event? Like I'm like, dude, like I don't actively watch the news. And when you talk about, because earlier you said that people talk badly about Trump and then talk so highly about like maybe Biden or he's not controversial. But I would say this is somebody who barely watches the news, and people could tell me if I'm right or wrong about this. But when he was president, I looked on TV and I saw somebody from Israel and someone from Palestine nearly shaking hands with Trump in the middle. And I know that during that time, a lot of our enemies weren't so bad on us, and it might have been part fear because he's wild.
Exactly, he's wild
or
unpredictable.
Yeah, and then also too, a liberal would definitely make the argument, or someone who's against it would definitely make the argument that him being cool with Russia means that like if he was president again, our whole country would be like handed to them. But really, I looked at it as like ever since I was a kid growing up in the 90s, I've always turned on the TV to be shown that the world was ending and that there was groups of people that hated us. But when Trump was president, I don't think I was as concerned about foreign entities popping off on us.
Yeah.
And now I kind of am, and now the world is on fire. That's probably something I'm not really gonna, there's so many historical implications to that, and we're not here to talk about that stuff today. But the world, it has resumed.
It wasn't on fire like it is now.
Yeah, and it's resumed its normal television programming of the world, which is some nonsense. When Trump was president, the most controversial things was him saying stuff that you would say with your boys at a party.
Yo,
like, bro, like the biggest the biggest disappointment in the world was him being like, yo, yeah. It's like, of course I do that. Like my Trump impression is horrible today because it's like late at night, but I do have a good Trump, and like I have it's in there somewhere. But like he was just going off like, yeah, so I was hanging out with Tanisha the other night, and oh Lord, it was an occasion. Now the blacker the berry, the sweeter the fruit. He'll say stuff like, he'll be like, I was at Trump Tower the other day and yo, it was popping. I had a little yachi in there. Yeah, it was like he's named after a boat. Like, yeah, bro, he was just a wild boy. Yeah. Aliens, oh my God, yeah, those UFOs, oh. Like he's Dr. Evil now in my impression. But basically, they do kind of talk the same. But the most controversial thing was him just saying bro stuff. Yeah. And I'm like, what is going on? And then he gave us checks. And bro, it's so crazy to where I was online waiting for cuts and slices, like it's terrible pizza. I love my people, but that pizza, oh, did I say that out loud? Anyways, maybe edit that part out because I don't want them to they might be a sponsor for you one day. But it's not good for how long that line is. Okay. But the jerk oxtail pizza was delicious. All right, but I was on the line for cuts and slices, man, and I'm talking to like some of the hoodest people from Brooklyn that I've met, and they like real hood, and they like, yo, we love Trump, man. Yo, we love him, man. He gave us a check, we got P5, and like so it's crazy to hear now that all that's kind of come and gone, how like the exact people that may be looking at him like he was the devil are kind of looking at him like he was just the real one, because he never really said anything too controversial to me. He would just kind of say some things that I would say, but I wouldn't say them if I was the president. But it was good to hear though.
He definitely did say a lot of things that were controversial.
Yeah,
like he said something about how he likes his I'm butchering this, but he likes his military men not captured, and he was talking about some guy that had gotten captured.
Yeah,
and he said something crazy about that. He said that he didn't know who the leader of the KKK was. I don't know his fucking name, but he was he said he didn't know his name, and as a president, especially Trump, and of that time, like me, I don't know his name because I'm young.
Yeah.
But you should know his fucking name. You know what I mean? So there was definitely some controversial things being said.
Yeah.
But it's always like, yo, like, do you really like? Don't you want, like, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
And nobody's like Christ, like as we just said.
Yeah.
But it's like we should at least like he had good policies.
Yeah.
And so now the fact that the media and everybody is like not even everybody, because I don't even think
he focused on America.
I don't even think the populace is like against him. And they definitely aren't, and we see that with the polls that are coming out. But the fact that the media and all these mainstream corporations,
they're going hard.
They're going hard, and it's like, and the people aren't buying it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're trying to tell us, it's like, oh, he's an asshole, he's this, he's that, he's a racist. We can't let him back in.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
It's weird too, because
he's
he's so rich to the point where I don't know if people understand this. Racism is like a facade construct that's created for people in the same tier of society to like be in conflict with each other.
Bicker with each other so they don't go up.
That's like you being in the hood and you mad at the white person who's your neighbor, but I'm like, yo, that white person in the hood with you. Y'all the same. So racism is kind of created to cause static between us, the people, the proletariat, so we don't rise up or figure things out. It's like in our Constitution, it states that we should revolt against a tyrannical government. And in fact, in most actual democratic countries, I think even Sweden did it at some point within my lifetime, they overturned their whole government because it wasn't working right. Even in the UK, a lot of things happen from them just being like not cool with what the government is doing. But with America, it's weird. As long as we have fast food, VH1 reality TV, housewives, and whatever's going on with us, we don't care about the actual political change or whatever of our own country.
We care about the political, but it's if it's overseas or not.
Yeah,
you see everybody on fucking social media, and I get so fucking aggravated when I see people, especially my age. I'm 20 years old. I'm young compared to, how old are you?
This man called me old. I look fantastic though. But the African gene. Yeah.
But everybody cares about what's going on in Gaza, right? Not to say that they shouldn't. Not to say that it's not necessarily. Not to say that it's not like a real bad thing that's going on. People are dying, granted. But the fact that more people got something to say about what's happening in Gaza than what's happening at our fucking border, and what's happening with our election, what's happening with mental health,
it's terrifying.
It's fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean?
It's terrifying.
And it just fucking drives me fucking crazy.
America's weird. I don't know what it is, but I think it's because so like we go to the gym, and I think we've talked before too about how doing a hard thing is that sounded weird, but how doing something that's tough or something that's difficult is probably the best way to live a life. Like when you look at ancient philosophers, Macedonians, Greeks, African society, stuff like that, there's always people that say like there's got to be some sort of abstinence from something, or you have to like kind of like stay away from certain things in order to live a better life. Like you have to do difficult things. You have to like use your body. You got to
useful.
You have to you can't just do everything for the sake of doing it. There's like an idea to all of this, right? And we live in a society where you can kind of just do whatever. And because you can do whatever, I think people go in so many different directions that they get lost on what's simple and what makes sense. Because in America, we care more about dogs than we do people and babies. And we care more about something going on overseas than we do here. Because I get it, globalization, like the global economy, globalization is important, like for us to all be connected. But Trump, what he did, which was interesting to me, is that he, like, and we probably have to do research on this, but I know that when it came to like certain like ideals, that I think like Obama started, I think all Trump did was change the words to America. He like emphasized America in each stanza of whatever that was. Because the thing is that if you're running a country, you got to make that country better so that country can be better for the world. He wasn't talking about being xenophobic and being isolationist. He was talking about fixing America. So people got angry at him for, I get it, climate change is a serious thing, but he was focused on rebuilding.
Well, I mean, that's even up to debate at this point.
Well, but he was focused on rebuilding the climate of our country.
Yeah.
Like that's what he said. So the thing is like, I honestly, I didn't vote for the dude because I thought it was socially irresponsible. But at the same time, when it was all said and done, I was like, bro, it was a little bit of a breath of fresh air to know that like some dude did whatever he did in life and somehow became president, and it wasn't something where he was chosen in a room by a conglomerate of folks. Something felt refreshing about it.
One of the things that I hate about this, the way that we elect presidents, is that we don't necessarily choose who we vote for. The same way we don't really choose what we vote on.
We have a representative democracy. We vote for
you know what I mean? Like they tell us, they tell us who's on the ballot. They tell us who you're allowed to pick, and that's it. But I always make this point. It's like if everybody in America wanted you to be president, why can't it be so?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they just create a system where it's like, no, like the Republican Party has to pick somebody, and then they have to be ran or whatever and campaign. And it's ridiculous. And then the same goes for, like, why isn't that we don't get to choose what we vote on either? I mean, like, why can't we choose to vote on, let's say, shut down the border?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a country for the people by the people, right?
Yeah.
Why isn't that an option? If everybody, and I'm pretty sure they do, want that border shut the fuck down, why can't it be so? I mean, we definitely have the funds, the personnel, the means to do it. Because you're sending $60 billion to Ukraine, but you mean to tell me you can't shut down our own fucking border?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
It's like, I'm with you. It's all a little controlled, because I was gonna say, as you did mention earlier, how I'm old, but let's see if I can remember school real quick. I got that Benjamin Button disease. So basically, I remember when I was a kid, we were talking about different forms of democracy, and you could probably have to look this up, but I remember we were told in school that we're like a representative democracy.
Well, we're a republic.
Well, yeah, but we're a republic, but our form of democracy is representative. So we're voting for people to handle. It's like an electoral college, and we're voting for people to do that. So it's not like have the most votes, you win sort of thing. So here's my thing, because I am slightly a conspiracy realist, because there's a lot of things that I've looked into over my life, and I'm not sure how this whole the ones who were chosen are supposed to be the ones that are chosen thing kind of goes. But I think we can all agree that they did not want Trump to be in that position. So I feel like most people, like we like to kind of to tie this in a bow, most people should really hold on to the fact that if the people you say are controlling every single aspect of your life and your day and are holding the people down or pressing the people or not doing what we need them to do or not doing this or that, how did first of all, Trump slip in, and why do they dislike him so much? Like, I would almost use that as a way for you to question, like, how much you think he's negative or not, and at least use it as a human being, because we all, who are human beings who are born into this country, we have the right, we can become a president.
Yeah.
So this should show kids, young people, whoever, if you don't like his message, great, but he shows you with enough skill of, like, especially charisma, like a way of doing certain things, you can get to a position. Because I'm gonna be real with you, if you look up clips of that man, he is charismatic. Like when the woman in the audience was like, Donald Trump, so we hear you don't like women, and he goes, no, I love women, I just don't like Rosie O'Donnell. Like, that was one of, it was that, like all
women are pigs and
yo,
shit.
That was, he was like, no, just Rosie O'Donnell. Like, he don't do like he's an entertainer, like he's out of control.
And I think people like forgot that, and people like, a lot of people run to the fact that it's like, oh, he's a politician, he shouldn't act that way. He's a president, he shouldn't be acting that way. It's like at the end of the fucking day, like let's be fucking real. Like, you got half the fucking population says worse shit with their bros, and then expect Jesus to be running the country.
And here's the thing, they couldn't even slay him. The crazy thing is that when you watch the debates from back then, it reminds me of like how I was when I was in school, because I was always like the smart kid that talked a lot of crap, but people really couldn't like kill me on certain points. Like, if Hillary was so smart and such the better politician, and Trump is so irresponsible and foolish, they could not light him up in a conversation, bro. Like, it was like literally watching a cipher. Like, he was freestyling on him.
He was
I thought he was KRS-One. Like, he was like rapping like on these people. Like, I got to pick a newer, different MC, because y'all like, who is that? But like, what I'm saying is like, if you're so good at what you do, how come you couldn't stop this? Because sometimes a lot of times there is the will of the people. And I honestly, I wasn't a part of that first wave, but it's crazy that he reminds me so much of situations that I've been through in my own life. Because as a person that lifts weights, like when we go and we work out in the gym, bro, we all have haters in our life, or we have people that they're rooting against us.
Yeah.
This is New York. A lot of folks is in their crib rooting.
Life.
Bro, this is New York. A lot of folks is in their crib rooting against you. Trust me, shades of gray all day. But when I see how people come at this guy, I'm almost like, bro, this is like Rocky 3 right now. I'm pretty sure Mr. T is gonna kill this dude. Like, I want him to almost succeed, because I'm just like, the world keeps telling him no. And it's just like, bro, like, I'm not seeing what he. There's a lot of socially irresponsible things he did. I can't, as a black man, like honestly, at the same time, I gotta be responsible enough to say that him putting the light under them weird white folks was not good for the country. But at the end of the day, there's something inspiring about this dude being a wild card that made it in the midst of this entire history we've had where everything is just so set up in this weird way where we're not in really control of anything. So
Yeah.
I think it was inspirational, honestly.
I think what happened, and we'll make a few more points and then move on to
Yeah.
more like philosophical things.
Yeah. Let's get Plato with it. Socrates. Stupid.
Fuck, what was I gonna say?
I don't know. I'm not mind reading.
I know you're not.
You probably want to tie it in a bow because we're coming. I'm almost tired of talking about this dude with his
I lost
comb
my train
over.
of thought.
Yeah. Tie it in a bow, bro. Like finish.
Nah,
I
lost it. It's gone now.
Yeah.
We'll move on though. I mean, so onto something bigger and better.
Yeah.
Or actually not, depending on how this conversation goes.
We'll see.
Let's talk about the mental health of just men in general, youth,
right.
older.
Let me get masculine for this one. Or is there a future part of the conversation where we talk about what men? Yeah, well, we'll get to that. So I'll save that for later.
What do you think are the biggest struggles that men in today's world have to face?
The best way I could say that is maybe if I talk about myself. So growing up, like being a millennial, we're the first generation of kind of what's happening now with Generation Zs, where our life is a little bit easier. Like as a kid, I did baseball, I took karate, and I was allowed to like quit at certain points. I did baseball for 10 years, did karate for a little bit. I was allowed to quit. The generation before me, a lot of times, like if you wanted to like quit doing something that was good for you, they wouldn't let you do it. It was almost like a harder way of living. So now we're going into this generation where we're kind of allowed to kind of do whatever. But I was still taught that there's certain ways a man had to be, and I had to be a certain kind of accountable, a certain kind of strong. It's all right to be an emotional being. Being male doesn't mean not being emotionally intelligent, but being a male does mean that you have to provide stability with your power. And what I really mean by that is that like Thanos is like the perfect male to me almost when I think about a film. Because he doesn't raise his voice, he keeps his word. He doesn't break his promises. He uses strength and power when he needs to. He's reactive instead of like overly aggressive because he's a god at that point in time. And it's not that men are people are gonna, want me to say this, but it's not I'm saying that men are gods, so to speak, but I'm saying that a masculine presence, it's a knife. It cuts through nonsense and it creates peace from that. Like they say that like soft men create hard times and hard and hard men create like good times. Like we create, you know what I'm saying?
It's like
say.
Soft times create hard men, hard men create good times create soft men, and soft men create hard times, and hard times create hard men or some shit. You know
Long
what I mean?
story short, don't be soft. But
it's a cycle, and we kind of see this as especially now that I'm getting older. It's like I see this. I'm sure anybody else that's older or even younger, you're gonna see it, or you already seen it. So it's just interesting. But
it is, and I would kind of tie this in a bow by saying that. So as a man, when it comes to mental health, I've come to realize, especially after losing my father, because I lost my father maybe like 2019. He died a day after my birthday. He died March 4th. And he was a father to me. Like he could have shared more on certain things, but he still provided like this masculine force, taught me how to tie a tie, wanted me to play sports, like instilled those things in me, right? And we don't have a lot of active fathers today. But as a millennial, we still got yelled at for the things we did that were like nincompoop, reckless stuff. And now society is almost enforcing, do whatever, lean into what makes you happy. But that actually, I believe, makes people sadder. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. So for me, in me mentioning that I lost my dad, I realized quickly that, especially when losing someone you love, especially like a father, like a man who loved you, is that no one really cares as a male how you feel. And it's interesting. And people are going to think that what I just said was depressing and sad. And you can't argue me out of this. And I'm not a sad person. But what I'm saying is that no one actually cares about what men feel. And I'll tell you why. Women, because of how we look at them, like we have to protect them, and they're emotional beings. Their emotional state is very much important to the way that I connect with them, and I will try to protect them from things. And even though your mother or your mom, like your mom or your girl, might hold your head and caress your head, like there's sometimes you feel like an emptiness from the fact that, like, dude, like no one actually cares. Like, especially if like you're a grown male, you got your own thing, you living alone. A lot of times you're left to your own thoughts, and the only thing you could really do is have those thoughts be productive, so you don't self-destruct. And one of the things I learned as a man is, like, if you don't have things in your life to provide that structure, provide that masculine influence, or either you provide it with feminine energy, or you're doing difficult things, your mental health will deteriorate. So I see a lot of men who are not being physical, not going to the gym, not living their purpose. And some of them think they're highly intellectual for being like fat. And I'm like, dude, like if you were intelligent, figure out what an amino acid is and go take your ass to the gym.
Yeah.
Like, you're not smart. You're just avoidant.
You just remembered what they told you and then went on with your life.
Exactly. And people, at least in the recent times that me and you've been alive, even me not being that much older than you, is like they kind of diminish physicality. But the whole thing is that men's mental health is closely linked to the fact that there's certain ways we have to be spoken to, certain ways we have to feel, and certain things we have to do. And our society actually is structured very much against that. Like, we're no longer hunters. We don't have to fight for our food.
Nope.
We don't have to fight or compete with other men. So a lot of times the way that we accomplish that goal in reality is going to be a part of a group, going to be a part of a gym, joining a martial art. And a lot of men who don't have those outlets, who are fat, sad, and hunched over in their thoracic, because they're not anti-thoracic, which is when you stand up straight, but they're like this, they're like a fetus, they're in a fetal position. Like, these men are sad because there's nothing that gives them that energy. Like, dude, like even having positive conversations with women, like not trying to flirt with them, but just being around women, that's proven to boost testosterone. Like eating steak and eggs, like doing that. And like most dudes are taught that. Honestly, it's not that we're taught that, but I think the communication barrier between men and women today is so destroyed. Like we're competing against each other instead of coming together in a beautiful coalescence to achieve something great.
Well, it's like you see this on social media. It's like, oh, women ain't shit, guys ain't shit, and it's like everybody's against each other. And it's like hello, like we're supposed to be making a family. We're supposed to be for each other. Like shit is all out of hand, bro.
So here's the thing. So now to bring that all together. Why are men sad? What are men going through? First of all, you have no connection with the other half of your species, which is women, which builds families, which builds something beautiful. Mm-hmm. They all want to go do the same things we're doing, and then by the time they're ready, like, well, no, I can't go into that. We're gonna stop right there. But what I'm gonna say is that we could be a better unity, and you could even see that visibly through film. Like in movies, every guy is an idiot. They made Thor fat. Like, dudes are emotional and stupid. When the woman is like overly confident, arrogant, and not even the hero you want, because you don't want your hero to be arrogant. You want your hero to go through something to become that hero, like Rocky, right? Or like, well, Creed, he's actually really good at boxing, so I don't know why anyways, Rocky's a better example. But what I'm saying is like, that's broken. The communication between men and women is broken. Like, men don't have anything they're striving for or trying to be. So they're sad because they're generally having no purpose. I work in a retail environment. I'm going to leave them out. I can't talk about where I work, but I work in a retail environment. And I had a coworker one time where he was just angry. And he said he didn't know why. And I said, I know why. You haven't been to the gym in a while. You live in a society that's soft. You have people talking to you a certain way. You have people, insulting your intelligence and trying to use these systems of like political correctness that we use to like control you, and you don't have an outlet. That's why gyms, martial arts, even taking a walk is really important to you as a person, whether you're male or female. But we're so removed from the natural parts of who we are that how could we possibly be happy? Like today, I knew I wasn't going to be happy unless I went to the gym and left the house. I went to my barbershop to talk, went to the gym again, having this conversation with you. It's like, dude, like you have to go and breathe air and be a part of the universe and be a part of the world. I said universe, that's large. But when people are just stuck in their own like chamber of voices and this and that, construct. Like you're not going to be happy because you have no perspective. It's like almost like that show 13 Reasons Why. Like I don't know what the point of that show was for most people, I know the girl, the girl like I don't know how you say something. It was a self-deleted or she whatever. I don't. I don't want to get you shadow banned or whatever the hell's going on.
Self-deleted is
Yeah,
crazy.
whatever. So like she
Control Alt
yeah,
Delete.
because you can't use that word. So what I'm saying is that the show was about that, but there's a beautiful moment in the show where the parent says to the main character, the kid, he goes, "You're in high school. Everything gets better. I was the nerd, now I married the pretty girl. You're gonna be all right." So when you are depressed, when you have mental health issues, it's almost like you're a teenager who doesn't know that there's a tomorrow. It's just like if a woman breaks up with you,
Yeah.
there's a million other women and there's a million other people for you to fall in love with. The sense of scarcity, the sense of thinking the world is always going to end, senses of like, like everything is going to fall apart. It's not it's not an intelligent way of looking at it. And if everything was gonna fall apart, there's nothing you can do about it, but you can only really just live. And on the same point, look how many times prophets, religions, Mennonites, people in history have claimed the world was gonna end. Y2K, and it just keeps going. In fact, in 2008, when I was with one of my homeboys and we're just getting out of college and we're afraid about our futures, we don't know what we're gonna be. We were talking about the Mayan apocalypse in 2012. And we're like, will this happen? It's 4 years from now. And you know what we said as we were drinking, I think tequila or something like that, or vodka, whatever we were drinking, as we were kids, right? In college and shit, So you know what he said? You know what we came up with? What if the world doesn't end? Isn't it just simply terrifying that we'd have to just figure out our lives and be something? Everyone wants everything to blow up because they don't have a purpose. And the thing is that that's more terrifying. People almost want the world to end. So a lot of people, men especially, are incredibly sad and mental health is on decline because they have no purpose. A lot of times, also too in the same token, when it comes to finding a mate and finding a partner and finding somebody you want to be in love with, there's a lot of challenges with that in America, especially. And I think that loneliness is crazy, and a lot of men are lonely, and that's why people start these masculinity cults, and like we start these groups and we go to gyms, and then people get angry at Andrew Tate, but at least Andrew Tate is trying to get a bunch of nincompoop dudes together to get them to actually like care about themselves. I'd rather have a dude join a group of people to tell him to be confident so that he can create a better life for himself than for him to be in a corner and wither away and die from loneliness because he doesn't have a purpose and he doesn't know how to become a man.
They end up, going to a school and doing some dumb shit or just being an asshole in society.
Exactly.
And being useless when you need to be useful.
Because the people that you just mentioned, like, those are incels. Those are people that they hate women. And I don't think that a lot of these people in this atmosphere are that. And a lot of them are. And I always hate it when I'm watching something and I'm agreeing with the person and I find out, damn, they do hate women. Jeez, oh my God. But the thing is that you're not an incel if you're choosing to be confident.
Yeah.
You're not toxically masculine. In fact, if you look at the history of the word being toxically masculine, it was created for prison systems because the things men would have to do to survive in prison is considered toxically masculine. But in general society, a male who is being masculine is not toxic because masculinity is energy that creates peace and order.
Yeah.
So it's not, it's a lot of systems of control with that one as well. And a lot of men actually subdue that masculine part of themselves to allow this world to operate the way that it is and let things get this kind of crazy. And that in turn makes them sadder. Like nothing hurts more than for you to be in a relationship with somebody and know you're not saying how you feel because you don't want to stir the pot. You don't want to be abusive. You being a man and standing on your ground and standing on your own 2 feet is liberating. Like the amount of things that I choose not to deal with empowers me. And a lot of men are sad because there's things they're choosing not to deal with.
That was a beautiful point.
Don't make me cry.
Right? To go on what you said, right? You brought up purpose. And that men have no purpose.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that we struggle with as men today is that one, society doesn't reward us for being masculine anymure. No. They'd rather you be more feminine. They'd rather you present more feminine traits and not be that confident man, not even toxic masculinity, but not even be confident. It just doesn't reward you.
Bro.
The fact that I don't think that we should strive to be happy. Yes, you're going to have happy moments and you should learn how to be grateful for those moments. Not to say that you should be sad all the time, but life isn't about just being happy. Life is about being of use. And what I mean by of use as you say, to tie it in a bow, is to be of purpose. And to find purpose, you have to find who you are.
Yeah.
And so the deeper problem is that people don't know who they are, especially the youth. They don't know who you are. And it's because there is no more hunting and no more like basic natural like purpose for a man not to go hunt and provide. It's like you do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to do what's socially acceptable.
Yeah.
So everybody's looking at the drill rappers and the gang members and the drug dealers and the people that have the clout.
Some of them songs is good, but they degenerates, man.
And then it's catchy. Yeah, it sounds good, but it's like that's a whole different conversation too. But what happens is that you have these kids, even grown ass men. Sometimes they look at what's socially acceptable and say, "I have to be like that. I need to go towards there because that's a success, or that's." That's where I could fit in. And it's like, no, like that's not necessarily true. Yeah. You have to know who you are and you have to align yourself with a purpose.
Knowing who you are.
Exactly. You have to know who you are. And if that's not who you are, if those group of people over there is not who you are, then you need to stay the fuck away from them. Exactly. You know what I mean? And it's like, you need to find a purpose. Everybody that has a career, anybody that's a celebrity or is known for something, that has a purpose of helping others. So anybody's purpose, just to tie in a bow, is that purpose is always going to align. Your purpose is always going to align with helping others. You have basketball players. Their purpose is entertainment. You're entertaining others. Actors, you're entertaining others. You're informing others. You're putting on a show for others. You know what I mean? This podcast, I'm talking, we're having this conversation for others to view. You know what I mean? Fitness trainer, you're training others. Therapist, you're talking to others. So any type of purpose that you might put in your life, it's going to impact others, but you also need to know yourself, because 9 times out of 10, that purpose is like, if you want to help others, or if you want to be a fitness trainer, let's just say, you probably had to go through something in fitness or had to have achieved something. Yeah. So who you are is going to directly correlate with that purpose that you choose to give yourself. Yeah. And so the fact that a lot of men don't know their purpose or don't know who they are, they'll never find their purpose.
It's good to know.
You know what I mean?
It's good to know what you're capable of because of what you've been through. Also with gyms and physicality, like I forget which philosopher said this, but you should not live a life without knowing the power that your body can hold. And the other thing is crazy too, is like you talked about purpose and you talked about knowing yourself and whatever that may be, even if it's outside of the guidelines of what we're talking about. Knowing yourself is important because that's the way that you're able to identify who you are, to not be in a position where your mental health might be at stake. And the crazy thing is our society actively fights against things that are positive, that I was taught as a kid are a positive thing. Like when I was a kid, I was overweight. That bothered me. I never hated on anyone else's lane when it came to that. If people were in shape and I saw how it was when I was a kid. It may not be like this today, but I saw like dudes who like, they probably fizzled out in high school. And I'm a grown man who's got my stuff together. But I seen dudes where they were the good-looking guy. All the girls liked them. They were, to me, it was almost like, wow, they were living a full life because of something that they just almost like naturally had. But the thing is that what's beautiful about life is that you can work on something and you can change it. And the crazy thing is that I've had people not know me personally and how humble I am and what I've been through. Like, I've lost my dad, I've been broken up with, I've been hurt. I was like, I was an overweight kid. Like I found the gym, I found this, I found that, but people see the person in front of them and they judge it. I've been called cocky or arrogant or a host of negative words just for me standing up straight, having an opinion and standing on my ground. And the thing is that as a kid, my mother and my father instilled in me to be a strong person, to be this kind of person. It's okay to be against something. It's okay to be you. It's okay to stand on that. But it's just interesting how society isn't particularly helping people because it's telling them the things that can actually help them are harming them. It's okay to take care of your physical appearance. Yeah. It's okay to look good. Like we literally live in a culture where people will go to important meetings and they're all wearing like what we're wearing now. And I usually will show up with slacks and some nice shoes and like a turtleneck, and they're calling me Dwayne Johnson. I'm like, yo, am I actually living in a society where I'm being made fun of for looking like one of the most richest, handsome, and swole people on earth? It's like, and when I was a kid, you get made fun of for looking like Chris Farley. It's like it's weird.
Isn't it funny how the dynamic? It's funny how the dynamic switched when it was before. It was like today, right? if you're overweight,
Yeah.
and not in the and not even overweight, but not even in
Slay Queen.
not
whatever they
even
be saying.
yo.
I can't believe I said that.
It's like
Somebody bleep that out.
It's like if you're overweight or you're
Yeah.
not and you're not even not in the best shape, it's no
Yeah.
problem, right?
Yeah.
It's whatever. It's no big deal, right?
Yeah.
But if you're actually in the gym taking care of your body and shit,
Oh, I'm a
you get
jerk.
called, yeah, you're an asshole, you're arrogant, you're cocky, you're this, you're that. It's like, what the fuck?
And you
talking
don't know
about?
what I've been through. Like I remember when I first got lean in like 2015. Before getting on lean again, yeah, it could creep back. So when I first got lean in 2015, I remember I went to Burger King, and this girl, she was cool. Like I was ordering food. I was like, I don't know what to get, and she said, yeah, you don't look like you go here often. And I'm like, girl, if you knew how many McChickens I had under my pillow as a child, and how much extra mayo I asked for all the McChickens, you don't know like who someone is from how they present. Like I just have a relentless thing in me where I know I want to succeed and I know how I want to look. And I love the ability to go on vacation, fly on a plane somewhere and walk down a beach and look like somebody that I believed I could be when I was a child. Like think about it. I'm self-actualizing my dreams. Like when I was a kid, my dream was to be like Batman, James Bond, Bruce Wayne, all these people, like have my own car, have my own spot.
Very masculine figures.
Exactly. And you know what I boil it down to when I talk to people, and it's crazy, you got a amazingly balanced disposition for a person your age, but I've talked to people who are 20 who are hunched over and like Planet Fitness, because that's my fast food gym. I don't go there all the time. But like when I go to these places, I actually try to like help people and like try to like inspire them, because I'm like, bro, like I asked this kid, what'd you want to be when you were a kid? He was like a police officer. I was like, bro, I wanted to be a man.
You wasn't born as a man?
No, I was. And that's funny. That's the second time that somebody made that joke. But what I'm saying is when you're a boy, you're not a man yet. So my whole idea was like, I mean, you know what's crazy too? How people hate on you? Yo, the 90s was wild. I remember I told one of my homeboys, when I get older, I'm gonna have muscles and have money and have all this. He said, no, Rodney, you know you're not, Rodney. You're just gonna be fat. And I don't even know where that dude is now, but I think I might have seen a clip somewhere. He ain't doing so well. A lot of people fizzle out. That's why you got to work on your purpose.
Dude.
Because all the shorties you like to high school, yo, you 20, right?
Yeah.
Yo, send a message to the girls that didn't talk to you just recently because you're not that old. Let them know that in 10 years, bro, they're going to be looking for you.
I got a girl and I'm good.
I know, but what I'm saying is, it's funny when I was a kid, the girls that didn't want to talk to me, and it's like they grown, and it's like they washed up. Because no one cares if you were cool, in my opinion, when you were 13 and 14. Of course you're an amazing athlete when you were just born. It's easy. But what are you doing in your 30s? Like 50 Cent said, damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. Like it ain't cute to be fizzled out. Like there are people who were 50, 60. I've met people who were 70 years old standing up straight. With all their faculties together, like and work out and do their thing. So there's no excuse. So have a purpose and know yourself.
But yet society will tell you that 50 is you're old and that's your life done already.
Man, I just got called old like 15 minutes ago.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. About who?
I don't know.
Wasn't me.
That's crazy. But I'm gonna be real with you. When I was like 23, I heard somebody was 28. I was like, yo, you gonna die soon. What's wrong with you?
Hold on, you said you when you was 23?
Yeah, I remember I saw the girl who was like 28. I was like, oh my God, she's ancient. But like, bro, there's always more life.
Yeah, 100%.
Do your thing. Know your purpose.
You know, it's when we go, I want to touch on that, on the school social construct, right? Everybody, it's like when you're in school, right? It's like, and this is also why they fizzle out at the end. Because when you're in school, you're like, okay, who... And this is from my experience, right? It's like in school you look at, okay, who am I, right? And then it's like you don't really know, and so in school you're trying to figure it out, and then you show the world, you know, who you are, you know, because you go into school and you go into social environments and you show the world who you are. Yeah. And then let's say you make a joke or you're a little bit too cocky or too confident or whatever, and now you get shit on. Yeah. Now that part of you is tucked away inside. And you have a wall built up, and now you have a wall built up in your personality, and then you know what? It happens again and again and again and again, and so now all these people have walls built up, and the only thing that's showing, the only thing that's showing is the trending group. Yeah. The fucking what word were you using? The drug dealers and the fucking gangsters.
Oh, degenerates.
Yeah, the degenerates.
Degeneration X.
That's what's popular, right? Because when you talk to the females, right, what do they look for? They look for that type of group.
I'm gonna be real with you. It's crazy. When I was young, like women liked like men, like they had to like, you know, be in shape or whatever. Like, bro, I like literally I live alone, I drive, I smell good, I work out, manicure, you know, I got to get it done this week, but like I do my thing, right? I still got my calluses here though. But like when I was a kid, and it's not about being metrosexual, nothing like that. Like when I was a kid, it was like, yo, to be a man, you have to have a lot of your stuff in order. But now you get some crinkly cooked braids, smell like weed, and weigh 90 pounds, and you'll be walking around with a woman that's like basically a stallion. And I'm like, yo, are we becoming a Tyrannosaurus Rex society, like reptilians, where the female species is bigger than the male
Dude,
species?
it's like,
Bro, it's like, bro, that's not even like a dude
It-
at that point, bro.
you know, it's sad. Bro, it's not. It's just a fucking it's
Yeah.
degenerate, and it's nothing of a man.
Yeah.
Or it's nothing that will turn into a
They
man.
paying for his
Dude,
Wendy's.
I look at it
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's sad to me, but
Mhm.
then I'm just like, you know what? Like,
Them shorties just
at
ain't
the
for
same,
us then. Yeah, for you.
fuck the
Yeah,
shorties,
whatever,
because half
whatever,
these
yeah.
bitches want to be shaking
Ain't for
ass
you.
to Ice
Yeah,
Spice
yeah,
and Sexy
yeah.
Red and
Oh
think
my
she
God,
cute.
that is a terrifying human being.
Dude.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
what I'm saying though is that
Seems nice though, but terrifying.
with men nowadays, and even the youth that will turn into men, it's so easy to just shit on all of them and just be successful and there's barely any competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like kids my age, it's like, yo, like it's hard to find another 20-year-old that's like me, that has the mindset
I'd be
that I
surprised
have.
when y'all tell me y'all age in the gym. I have
And
conversations
that's where it
with y'all.
starts.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you know, in the gym you'll find a whole different group
Yeah,
of
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
But a majority of people are outside of the gym.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? It's a
bro.
small gym that we go to. It gets
Bro.
packed, but if you look on the total of New York, it's
Yeah.
a pretty big ass
And
place.
it's weird in NYC. A lot of this degenerate behavior, the things they're putting into their bodies. Like I be meeting kids, I almost want to call them sir because they look like burnt out. Like I don't even think
Lost.
I don't even think I carry the energy of somebody that's. I mean, I have that. I have a maturity, but I still have like a vibrance to me. I feel like, and I feel like I see a lot of kids where it's like I don't know if it's vaping or what, or the Arizona iced tea, hot Cheetos and fluoride in the water. I don't know what it is, but like I never seen so many frailed out kids. Like just it's just weird. Like
Yeah, you know, I've always like every time I look, like, you know, when I was in school, I looked at the grades above me and I was like, damn, like they look crazy. They're grown as fuck.
yeah,
And then I look at the generations under me and I'm like, what the fuck happened to them?
I don't
And I'm just like,
know,
yo, they just
bro.
keep getting smaller and smaller. And I don't know, maybe it's like a generational thing where it's just like you kind of just like everybody sees it like that, or maybe it's like that it's something that
No,
it's really
I
like,
used to think that
you know
kids
what I
older than
mean?
me look like adults. I thought I was
yeah,
or
right.
Like when I was
And then
watching
you look at the
Smallville,
grade,
and I was
then
like, I'm gonna look that in high school.
then
Nah,
you
I
look
don't
at the
like
grades
that.
under
Yeah.
you and you're like, what the fuck, these kids never grew or some shit? And it's
I
like,
mean-
but that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
maybe it is
yeah.
like a generational thing where that's just how you see things.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not actually what's going on, but I don't know.
Nah, it's real in this sense because you brought up mental health. You brought up why men are sad. Women are going through the same things too. There's a lot of pressures being put on women. There's a lot of pressures being put on men to be something that they're not, or do this or do that. That is cyclic. So our society cares the most it's ever cared about in human history about mental health and helping people with mental health. But most of the things our society does is actually setting it up to be that way. Because the thing is that
it's because they make so much fucking money.
they make
off
money
that
from it.
shit.
Because the thing is that I'm not trying to support a culture of abuse, but for me as a kid who was overweight to take accountability for what was causing me health problems and decide to change it at different points and times in my life is powerful. Like it's not good to be told when you're young that you're pre-diabetic or hypertensive or whatever. And if you're overweight and you don't have those issues yet, you will. A human being is not made to look like that. It is a fundamental fact that if you lift weights or if you try to increase the muscularity of your body, it will prevent you from injury. There's times where I've fallen, and because I work out, like I'm able to move in a way that doesn't cause myself injury. The reason why people have like hunched over syndrome or like they're older and they're screwed because they never worked out a day in their life, so they fall apart.
Because they sit like this.
Yeah.
And then they don't even see a problem.
And the
with
crazy thing is, this is the first thing I teach people in the gym. And I'm not certified, so please, personal trainers, tell me I'm wrong about this, but your chest should always enter a room before you do, and most movements you do involve your chest being prominent. So it's like a human being might have been born in the fetal position, but for us to thrive, you have to be moving in the opposite direction.
Gotta sprout.
Yeah,
but
you gotta grow.
I was just about to end it off. Yeah. On that note,
Man,
we'll wrap it up like that.
So apparently,
what?
apparently, when me and you were together, we gonna have Joe Rogan level stuff. We need 2 hours. We need 3 hours.
Yo, no, I'm for real. It's good.
Did we even hit? Did we even hit everything? Did we hit all the questions?
No, we didn't.
Damn.
We definitely didn't. That's why I only came up with like 4 things, because every time it's always like you only cover a few things. But to wrap it up though, what do you got going on? Where can the people find you? What's going on with
so my
Rodney?
social media, my Instagram is Roddy Vision, RODDY Vision. I also have a YouTube channel, same name, Roddy Vision. I'm currently working on a podcast, like a YouTube style station called the Forum, hosted by Roddy Vision, where I'll be talking about different topics like this as well. I'm definitely having you on, bro.
I'm with it.
Yo, this is the most advanced 20-year-old I ever spoke to, man. This man's like,
I feel good about that. I'm not gonna lie.
This man's a computer program,
I'm an anomaly.
He's an AI.
I might be Neo.
A systemic anomaly. But that's where y'all can find me, Roddy Vision, on everything. And I'm an actor, so look for me in the future. And I'm dressed like Bruce Lee today. Yeah, I did that on purpose. Mm-hmm.
He got the matching pants and everything.
Yeah,
right? Don't be fooled. He got the matching.
I was called Kill Bill today. I was called like Beatrice from Kill Bill. I was called Bruce Leroy. Yeah, look that up. Last Dragon, great movie.
I'll probably put that up at the end of the
Bruce
clip.
Lee. Yeah, everything.
All
but
right.
I did it in confidence. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Of course, bro. And we're definitely gotta do this another time, cover a few more things, guys. As you already know, I want you guys to stay disciplined. Hit the gym. If you're not hitting the gym, go to Planet Fitness. It's $10 a month. Yeah. It's not that hard.
It's a training wheels gym. Look at that.
This guy's crazy. Do some push-ups at least.
Yeah.
Eat the right things, guys. You know, it's like if you're working out hard, it's okay if you go to Burger King once in a while. But if you're not doing shit and you're eating shit, your life is gonna equal shit. All right. And I'm just gonna leave you with that. I will see you guys on the next episode. I hope you guys have a blessed week. All right. Bye.
Woo.
That was good.
Yeah, bro.
That was good. How'd you like that?